Why SJR 4? As the convention in Philadelphia was coming to an end, George Mason realized that there was a critical oversight in the language proposed as a method for amending the document in the future. It provided that all amendments be proposed by Congress and ratified by the states. Mason noted that Congress would never originate an amendment that would curb its own power. There was no check on the power of Congress. George Mason suggested, and the framers unanimously agreed, that states needed a way to propose amendments as well. Consequently, language was added to Article 5 that gave states equal standing with Congress to propose amendment language in a convention called by the states for that purpose. State legislatures have never used the provision, and as a result have allowed the central government to expand its power at the expense of the states. Is it possible they looked forward through the ages and saw a time when the national government would be out of control or unresponsive to the equal standing of the states in a federal system? The framers could not have predicted the challenges we face today, but they did understand the nature of man to abuse power. Even though federalism, checks and balances, and separation of powers are built into our system, the power given to the national jurisdiction is limited to the items found in Article 1, Section 8. However, one of those powers is to borrow money. The only way to limit the enumerated power is through the amending process. There are only two ways to propose amendments: Congress or state legislatures. How long can we afford to wait for Congress to send an amendment to the states for ratification that will limit its power to borrow? The only other option is for the states to initiate the process. SJR 4 is an application resolution that serves notice to Congress and the equal sovereigns of our union that Oklahoma wants to be a part of the conversation about bringing our fiscal house under control and restoring a balance to the relationship between the federal government and the states. To address the $19 trillion national debt and restoring balance, I have options. I can do nothing and hope everything works out. I can help elect people to Congress that will not abuse the borrowing power. Number three, I can refuse to act because I do not have all of the answers to the what and how questions of the amending process. Or number four, I can embrace the constitutional provisions given to us in Article 5. I refuse to act in a way that would leave the impression I favored the status quo. I refuse to act in a way that would lead one to conclude that I was frozen by fear of the unknown. The framers of our Constitution did their part by including state legislators in the amending process. Who's willing to follow their leadership? Ben Franklin was asked by a woman when he left the last meeting in Philadelphia Convention, "What have you given us?" Franklin replied, "A republic, if you can keep it." Members, today we have the opportunity to ensure the next generation has a safe and secure republic. I invite you to join me by voting for the passage of SJR 4. I yield the balance of my time to the chair.